today we're going to be going over another legend. I mean, it's not local. I mean, it's kind of local to me, but kind of not. It's about 5 hours away from me in Fairfax County, Virginia. Have you ever heard of the bunnyman, Jared?
I have, and like I said, it's one of them, that it's one of them legends that made it all the way down into Tennessee. Even when I was a young fella,
I
I
had heard
remember
about
hearing.
it when I was young too.
So, like I said, it's definitely one of them that's it's spread out far and wide.
It's definitely a creepy one. So I guess a little background about this legend. Or maybe we should just go ahead and get into it.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
yeah. Um,
But what's
so
neat about
this
it too is there's several factors that makes it so interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of variation of stories, and what I pulled together for ours is the ones that I saw come up a lot.
Right.
This is the story of the Bunny Man of Fairfax County, Virginia, which is up. I think it's close to D.C. I believe it's somewhere up in there. That
Right.
area I don't go to a lot because I hate cities.
Right.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, like I said, there's a bunch of different variations, and I tried to stick with what was most common. So I guess we'll go ahead and get into it now.
Let's
So
do it.
back around 1904, there was a bus transporting prisoners from an asylum that crashed near a bridge. The inmates escaped. The local police were able to capture all but two of them. Their names were Marcus Walster and Douglas Grifton.
Now, during the hunt for the two men, the police found the half-eaten bodies of nearly a dozen rabbits. Eventually, they found Marcus Walster's body at a railway bridge. This bridge later became known as the Bunnyman Bridge. Walster's body was cold and stiff, but the police noticed that he was holding something in his hand with a tight grip. It was a hatchet.
So, about a year or so later, on Halloween night, a group of teenagers were said to be hanging out at the Bunnyman Bridge. They never returned that night, and supposedly their bodies were found strung up from the bridge, looking like they had been hacked up by a hatchet. It's also said that a similar incident happened a year or so later at the same bridge. After this, locals began to avoid the area, and one of our very own listeners at Spooky Appalachia said that as far as he knows, police still block off access to this bridge every year on Halloween.
Years later, in 1970, a young couple parked outside of a family member's house one night, very close to the Bunnyman Bridge. They claimed to see something moving in the rearview mirror. Before they could get out of the car, there was a loud crash and a man shouting at them that they were on private property. The man floored it out of there and went to the police, where they later found a hatchet in the car. The couple said the man looked to be wearing a white outfit with what looked like a hood or bunny ears.
Just weeks later, right before Halloween, only a few blocks away, a construction site security guard was out on patrol when he came up on a man that he described as wearing a gray or white bunny suit on the front porch of one of the houses that were under construction. The man in the bunny suit told the security guard he was trespassing, that if he came any closer, he'd hack off his head. The man in the bunny suit pulled out a hatchet and began chopping away at wood on the wooden post of the front porch of the house. The security guard ran to get a weapon, but the man was gone by the time he got back.
Sometime after this sighting, the construction company working in the area got a call from someone claiming to be the bunnyman. He said that if they did not stop leaving trash and materials on his land, that he was going to visit them personally to hack them up. The police were called, but the man or entity was never found.
And then this last story came in from one of our viewers. Hi, Spooky Appalachia. I saw your post asking for bunnyman stories. I lived in Fairfax as a kid in the 90s. One fall afternoon, I was walking home from school when I passed someone walking down the street in a bunnyman suit. I would like to say that's where the story ended, but it didn't. I kept noticing out of the corners of my eyes that the person was still behind me. When I would turn around, they would just be standing there staring. Eventually, I realized they were following me, so I ran the rest of the way home and locked the door to the apartment. I never saw this person again, thank God. I don't know if it was just a person in a suit trying to copy the popular story or legend, or maybe it was the ghost of the bunny man himself that people talk about. And to this day, folks in Fairfax still talk about the bunny man quite a lot. Some believe it's a ghost, others a cryptid, or even just a legend.
Man, that's all kind of interesting, spooky, and freaky.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I did see a lot of people listing it as a cryptid for the state of Virginia. I'm not
Yeah.
sure
I
where
wonder if
that.
that could be because it was never caught.
I mean, to me, if anything, it sounds more like a ghost
Very
or a
possible.
haint. Like
Very possible.
the man died at the bridge and haunts that area.
Right.
I'm not sure
Yes.
where the bunny man suit came from, or maybe it was something to do with all the rabbits that they ate.
Could be.
That part I don't
Really hard to
understand.
say.
Yeah, I don't understand how those two connect, but I mean it's creepy, and
It definitely is.
to me it just it sounds like more like a ghost story.
Yeah. It definitely does. And but it's just so fascinating,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Even though, it could have been somebody, just, your average, serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been, just it could have just very well been somebody locally, you know, um, that just, maybe, had,
A mental
some,
disorder or
yeah,
something.
some type of, a mental disability, that, it's just there's just so many variables of what it could
Yeah.
be, but as we always say, the not knowing is what makes it so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, with the experiences and the the phone calls to the police, the reports. It's just wow.
Now, the one thing I will say is I read that there were about 30 reports of this guy attacking people in the 70s. I could
Man,
only find those two attacks and
right.
the phone call to the construction company where somebody was saying that they were the bunnyman.
But in a way, it kind of makes you wonder too if it could be somebody that did that, that would call in and report in or something like that, saying that they were the bunny man to keep the legend going, maybe to keep the hype of it going, things like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Maybe the spirit of the bunnyman was trying to keep people away from the bridge.
Yeah, you never know.
But like I said, that there were 30 sightings of this guy reported. He never hurt anyone. No one was hurt from what I could see, or killed.
Right.
Because I did see some stuff saying that this was a serial killer, but then there were
No evidence of the an act, murders, deaths, or anything like that. As far as that goes.
there were those the story I mentioned, or the about the kids at the what were they hanging out there or something.
Right.
There was that, but I also saw there wasn't any documented evidence that actually happened. It could have happened, but
Right. It may have, but like you said, from what we've gathered and what we could find, there really was no official, any kind of like records, or anything like that. It could just be another one of the stories that went along with the legend somebody had
hmm
made up. Then again, you know how times were different back then.
yeah, this was what
So,
the late
like,
1800s. It's hard to say.
so where times were so different, things like that may not have simply been reported. Then
Yeah.
again, it may have just been tried to, back then they may have tried to, they might not have wanted to push it forward to keep a panic, you know,
hmm
from happening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That too. I didn't think of that. Then
So,
it sounded like in the 70s there was probably a panic. There was
right.
30 sightings documented. I mean, the two big ones that you hear about a lot were the couple parked outside of a driveway after the football game,
Yeah.
and the construction security guard.
Right.
I saw newspaper clippings of those. That was pretty neat.
So we got that, that much is documented,
hmm
so that we know.
And they
Man,
were never caught.
right. Never caught. So who knows? Like I said,
Definitely an interesting story. Would
most
love to
definitely.
hear what y'all think about it in the comments. What do you think it
Absolutely,
was?
folks. Let us know what you guys think. Or again, if anybody saw the post, or if anybody missed the posts that we did, if you have any stories, or know of any that you've heard that we didn't share on here, leave them in the comments section or send it to the email there.
Yeah, I could always do another video on those for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Right there is spookyappalachia@gmail.com.
Yeah. Well, folks, thanks for tuning in today. I was really excited about doing this one. How about you, Jared?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And hope y'all enjoyed it. And we'll catch you in the next one.
Absolutely, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in, listening to us again. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We love
Good
you
night.
bunches. God bless you and your kin.
Have a
Have a
good
good
one.
one.
I beat you to it.
Beat me to it.